Good morning. 7:37 at AM 990 KWAM. It's Memphis this morning. 62 degrees. Tuesday morning, looking better all the time. It's May the 17th, smack dab in the middle of Memphis in May. It's time for Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank. Here's your host, as always, George Bryant.
Thank you, John, and welcome to our studios. This is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, we talk growth with Triumph Bank and our special host, Tracy Strickland. Welcome to our studios,
Good
Tracy.
Good morning, George. How are you this Tuesday?
Doing great. You know, this we're loving. We were talking this morning. This blackberry spring, or whatever they might call it, has been really crazy on the.
Everybody's having sinus infections,
and
allergy problems, and clearing my throat right now.
Yeah, but it's been good on my utility bill, so I really like that.
That's true. That's true. I love the cool weather. Well, I'm happy to have a special guest in here.
Yeah, we got a special guest. It's returned. Tim came back. Tim Clements. Welcome, Tim.
Good morning. Good morning. I was afraid I might break this good weather Tuesday morning thing because we were calling for rain, but it looks good right now.
Yeah, it does. I know. It looks like you better keep the umbrella close. Yeah. Tim's been with us before, a special member of the great team over at Triumph Bank. He's the Senior VP of Cash Management. And today we're going to be talking about, I think, Tim, you wanted to talk a little bit deeper about some of the things that you guys are having to fight off all the terrorists in trying to get into the bank accounts.
Different type of terrorists than we hear on the news every day, fortunately overseas. But certainly the terrorists who are attacking both consumers and businesses and their bank accounts and identity theft, things of those nature.
And identity theft is, it can really mess you up and cause a lot of problems for you in your everyday life, even though you know about it, right?
Absolutely. Not only is there the attack today, but it's ongoing. You know, the aggravation that you've got to go through to straighten everything out, and sometimes it takes years to do that, and just the impact it has on not only a consumer, but the business, corporate takeovers, things of that nature.
So you're going to tell us a little bit, some great takeaways today, things that we can do as an individual today to protect ourselves, and then maybe tell us some of the things that you guys, I know that's got to be a constant battle for you to protect the bank's money and everybody's money. And
yeah, it certainly is. And what I'd like to do is offer some tips, advice, certainly to both consumers again and businesses, because there's no single entity that the hacker is trying to concentrate on. Some are weaker than others, but things that I'd like to point out immediately is make sure you monitor your accounts on a regular basis. That's very important. Install antivirus software. Keep your softwares updated.
Update is so important, isn't it?
Most of the updates deal with security. Typical software updates are just every 6 months or so, but security updates are coming out all the time because the hackers are finding a new way to get in, creating new viruses and things of that nature. So if you're not putting those in, you're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting others at risk as well.
Don't you have typically auto alerts on updates?
We do, absolutely, and that's very critical. That's another tip that I would give you is that the banks and credit card companies, they offer text alerts, voicemail alerts.
Right.
Make sure you take advantage of those. Those are things that, if something exceeds your typical threshold of writing a check or any type of transaction, make sure you've got that alert set up so that you get information immediately.
And don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it. Right. Don't ignore it.
I'll get to that next week. No. Do it today. So that's a really good tip. What are some of the other things?
Well, certainly, if you're not receiving mail that you typically would, if you didn't get that credit card bill this month, maybe a couple other pieces of mail, right away that's kind of a red flag that somebody might be out there going through your mail. If something is too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
It always is, yeah.
One of the primary methods of accessing somebody's identity today is what's called phishing. And that's where somebody has created an email. They're trying to lure you into giving them your credentials.
Yeah.
And a bank, financial institution, credit card company, they're not going to ask for that information in an email. It's going to be a one-on-one type of situation that they're talking to you. They're going to ask for particular information to verify that you are who you say you are. And I would suggest that you as an individual ask information of the bank, too. Make sure that you can make sure that they are who they say they are.
Boy, great information. We're going to pick up some more tips. We're talking with Tim Clements with Triumph Bank and Tracy Strickland over here in the studio. And we're also want to remind everybody that, Triumph Bank is celebrating their 10th anniversary from, 2006?
Oh, great.
Man, that's incredible. Great locations. I'd like to invite everybody to drop by. They've got 4 locations throughout Memphis, one right over here at Poplar and I-240, Germantown, Collierville, and Arlington. Some just great bank, local people, really giving back to the community. Your local community bank. We'll be right back with some more tips from Tim. You're listening to AM 990.
7:45 at AM 990, KWAM. It's Memphis This Morning as we continue. It's Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank. Tracy Strickland, her guest, and your host, George Bryant.
Thank you, John, and welcome back to our studios. Let's talk growth with Triumph Bank. And Tracy, you got a special guest in the house today with Tim Clements.
Well, we've talked a lot about a lot of different things. Tim came in a few weeks ago and talked about our online and mobile banking.
Mm-hmm.
But really, the number one thing that probably keeps us up at night and our biggest focus for our customers is keeping them safe, keeping their money safe and secure. And it is just an ongoing battle because there's so many bad people that are trying to hack into computers and take advantage of all of our customers. And so that's Tim's number one priority, and he's an expert in this area. And I really wanted him to talk more about what we do to protect our business customers in particular.
Yeah, it's great information. Tim, thank you for sharing some of this with us. I think you have some more. And these are takeaways. These are things that we all can do. And it also shows you what a great bank you guys are, spending all that time to try to help protect us.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is very critical for both consumer and businesses that they change their passwords on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come up with a password that's
123,
123, or the word password.
I can't use that anymore.
And I would also say that if Tracy was an avid golfer and people knew that she was an avid golfer, and it gets out, it's open public, and you don't want her to use a password that is related to golfing because somebody's going to be able to pick that apart. So, make sure you choose something that's going to be a little bit different, special characters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, not even 8 digits long. Go beyond that. And that's one of the things that we do is that we've in fact recently enhanced our password requirements to further protect our customers. And sometimes the customer is a little irritated that they have to change it so frequently, but in the end, we're protecting them. And most of those people know that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
And also from a business standpoint, the businesses, and we do this on a regular basis, is we train our employees what to look for. Educate them as much as possible
that's a good idea.
To what's going on because it's an ever-changing world. The hackers are just finding a new way to get in, to get information and things like that. And for instance, today in the business world, the largest single way of getting information today is through what's called business email compromise. And we've had a customer very recently that fell to this. And fortunately, we stopped it in time. We helped them stop it. But they'll get an email. For instance, the accounting manager will get an email from the CFO saying, please wire money to me at this, so forth, and then signed off on. And we actually received that wire request from that employee. Fortunately, we hadn't sent that wire out the door when she called and said, wait a minute, this email is not real. I just called my boss, and they said they did not send that to me. So be very careful about that. And that's the number one this past year in 2015 in the business world is the email compromise, where money is going out the door for that. So the companies really need to be aware of that.
You have to be on your toes at all times, I think. I mean, you just can't rest.
Exactly. And, and Tracy helped develop this in our online banking world. We out on our website, we have an education center where you can go out there and click on the identity
theft. That's great.
So we've given you some tips and tools and things of that nature out there today on triumphbank.com.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Great website. Like to invite everybody to check it out as well, triumphbank.com. And another number, I guess I want to make sure you know how to reach out. Great people over at Triumph Bank. So their phone number to reach them is 901-333-8800. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and get some more tips from Tim on, is that Frog Alert? No, about identity theft and fraud. We'll be right back. You're listening to AM 990.
Good morning, 7:52 at AM 990. KWAM, it's Memphis This Morning. Continuing with Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank, Tracy Strickland, her guest, and your host, George Bryant.
Thank you, John. And this is always special Tuesdays when we get to talk about growth with Triumph Bank and Tracy Strickland. Welcome back to our studios, Tracy, and your special guest, Tim Clements.
Always so glad to be here, and so glad that Tim is here, and he's got a lot more tips to share with us. I'm going to let him take it away.
Well, what I want to bring out probably first and foremost is as a consumer or business, either one, if you've been compromised, if there's been some sort of fraud, successful or not, let the bank know, let the credit card company know, let all the parties call the police, file a report, because if we don't know about it, we can't do anything about it. And certainly, some people are embarrassed to admit that they've had something happen to them, right. So they're silent about it, and all that's going to do is allow that person to come back and do it once again, and also kind of open the door to others that are falling for the same trap. So make sure that you report any fraud that you've actually had. Report if you've seen phishing, and certainly it allows us to take action quickly and further protect you from what's going on. And just to throw just some quick stats out there, 15 million Americans each year are attacked and have identity theft. That's a lot of Americans.
Goodness.
And the average loss is $3,500 for an individual. Now, to think about that, 73% of businesses have attempted fraud on them every year, and their loss is about $20,000 a year. Now, there's some losses that are greater than $2 million, so you can see how large that would be. And so it's very, very important that people follow the tips that I've given tonight or today, and then also go out and seek more information. Education is very big.
It's a different world. We were talking before we started the segment about we had just changed our router, and our tech guys were in, and they were talking about how many people it somehow registered all the different people trying to get in. And I know my mom used to always like to talk to people. If they called on the phone, she'd talk to anybody. She was so sweet, and she couldn't say no. And you got to step up these days.
Perfect target for a fraudster right there.
Yeah, so it's tough out there. But you guys take a lot of extra measures yourself internally, right?
Well, we certainly do. We keep continual training there in our offices. Our security officer, our IT director, on a regular basis is sending information out when there are these fraudulent emails. He circulates them, advises the employees what to do and how to be on the lookout for these sort of things. But even from just a practical standpoint, we as a bank, we offer we've got behavioral software. So we've got something in place that basically tracks the typical transactions for each of our customers. If something's out of the norm, then it's going to throw up red flags internally, and so we'll contact the customer and say, this isn't your normal stuff. Can you verify that this indeed is something that you've done?
A lot of people do that on the credit cards. They're doing that a lot now. I know if I mess up or and then all of a sudden they're calling me.
Absolutely, and I know it's frustrating. I fell into the same thing just very recently because there was something I'd moved recently, and so my credit card basically was shut down when I went to lunch. So I had changed my address just the night before. So anyway, while it's frustrating. It certainly is practical, and you would really want it. If you took that loss, you're going to go, oh, I'm so glad they did that. So, in keeping in line with the debit cards, certainly, be mindful of that. We're about to introduce a product called Card Valet, where you have the control yourself to be able to, if you think you've been compromised or your card's been stolen, you can shut it down immediately. Then if you turn around and find it, you can turn it back on. So you're not having to wait on the institution to be able to do that. You can take immediate action.
Great stuff. Helps me sleep better at night. Tim, thank you very much. Guys over at Triumph Bank are doing a fabulous job. And if you're looking for a bank that is, just like the good old days, local, community bank, but also state of the art. I mean, you guys are doing some state of the art stuff. Leading the industry, and a great bank to do business with. So give them a call, TriumphBank.com, and their phone number is 901-333-8800. 888-8800. Tracy, it's always good having you in the studio.
It's good to be here on Tuesdays, and so glad Tim could come back, and I'm sure he's just such an expert in so many different fields as far as the security part and the online banking and all the various things that we can do to support our business customers. So I have a feeling I'll have him back in a few weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tim, come back.
Absolutely, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great day. You're listening to AM 990.